All right, welcome back, everybody, to a new episode of Hidden Gems. I know I've taken off a couple of weeks as the year-end holidays kind of kept me a little bit busy. Plus, I was working on some new ideas, things here for the channel, so hopefully you guys are enjoying those. Like, I wanted to get shorts up and running, and that took a little bit of time to get everything situated there. And I even got a new segment for this show that I'm going to premiere for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed that as well. And hopefully you're still enjoying all the content here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel and keep doing bigger and better things, because I'm still having a heck of a lot of fun doing this stuff, and hopefully you guys are enjoying these shows as well. Now, as I mentioned, it's been a couple of weeks, so I'm going to kind of mix things up here or there. See what's working, see what's not. I'm open to all comments you guys might have. Make suggestions. Let me know what you want to see more of. Let me know what you would like to see less of. If there's stuff you don't like, let me know that too, and I won't give it so much of a priority in the things that I do. So with that all said, if you want to see the new segment I've got for you guys, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back with that to start now. All right. So for my new segment, I'm going to do this possibly as a trade-in here and there for artist retrospective, because this is also artist related, though this is something a little bit different. This isn't going to be anything based on any market, mostly because a lot of this just comes from what I would like to see. So these things I'm about to show you don't actually exist. And this was based off of a column that used to be written over on comicbookinvest.com by my old CBSI bro, Scott Whitman. He used to do this, and I thought it was a great idea and a great segment, and I really appreciated it. And I'm kind of trying to bring it back, inspired by that, my own sort of version of that, but doing it here on YouTube instead of as an article. And that idea is that should be a cover. As I said, you guys know by now, I really appreciate art. I love comic art particularly, and there's a lot of art that I see that I think would make for a great cover. And just kind of playing around with some of these ideas, this is some stuff that I would personally love to see. I also think we should be supporting all of these up-and-coming type artists. Support what you like. I mean, that's the only way people are going to know what to get you more of. So support the things that you like. And I know I've been talking about this artist a little bit on my IG, showing the pickups that I buy. Thanks again to James Kreider for pointing out her art to me, because, again, I'm a fan, so I'm collecting this stuff because I like it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it too. And the artist that I'm talking about this week for this new segment, I'm going to start off with Anna Marcano. As I mentioned, I've been showing you those pickups that I have for her. They're almost like art books. Like, there's a lot of portraits and pinup type things inside. It's not in a traditional comic because there's no story, but it is in comic book form. Gorgeous stuff. So she has covers on those, but those aren't technically comics, so that's why they didn't exactly fit. But here is the example of the book that caught my eye, and the one again. James pointed out to me. I saw this and was like, this is awesome. And immediately in my head, I thought of this. So this is kind of, again, what spawned this idea to do this segment here and to do it on these shows. And hopefully, again, you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think. But seeing this cover, I thought, what would it look like if this were actually a cover? And this is what I mocked up with some trade dress and a little bit of DC logo. Again, I'm just using what's out there, kind of playing around with things just to make it look like what it would look like if this actually existed as a cover. And I think this would be something I would buy. So I think it's cool. So I'm putting it out there. But there's no market to give you because this doesn't actually exist. It only exists in my head, basically. With the art that's provided by Anna and me throwing the trade dress on there, it's just me imagining what could be and what I would like to see. So hopefully this reaches somebody out there who is in the know and in the works and can make things like this actually happen. Maybe somebody over at DC will see this and go, you know what? We need to bring her in and we need to get her on some covers, because this would be awesome and they would have my money. Just like some of the other art. Again, I checked out, I'll have the links below for for Anna's the way you can see her art and things. Mad Love is where I've been buying those like little art books. I'll have their link in there below, so guys, go check it out. Again, I'm not pressuring you to do anything. Just go check it out. That's all I'm asking. Just go take a look. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, yeah, no harm, no foul. But looking at her art, I was seeing some of the things that she did, mostly focusing first here on these DC characters that she was doing some, kind of portrait type pieces on, like this one. So saw this, this piece, this Black Canary piece, and thought, what would this look like as a Black Canary cover? And I think, again, this would be pretty cool. This one I didn't overlay her head on top of the trade dress because then you wouldn't see the Black Canary title at all. But still, I could have done that, could have shifted things around a little bit, but still, you get the general idea what I'm going for here. I didn't do the recent Poison Ivy book that I actually did get the print for here. You know what? I'm going to show that for you. In case you guys didn't see it, we're going to switch it as we roll. I'm just going to switch it up. So I didn't do this one. Again, this is one of the Mad Love books, like I said. Inside, there's a lot of art, like page by page, full page, like pieces of art similar to this. So this is what you're going to be kind of getting. And Mad Love is kind of, supporting and spotlighting a bunch of different artists. So, like I said, just check it out. That's all I'm telling you to do. Just check it out. That's all I'm asking you to do. But she did have another Poison Ivy piece, so that one I decided to use and take a look at that one. So here we got Poison Ivy sitting there chilling on a throne, and I thought, you know what, this also could work. I couldn't find the current Poison Ivy trade dress, so I had to use an older one. But again, you guys get the idea. I'm not an expert with this stuff. I'm just doing what I can do with the tools available to me, and these are the things that I can see and would actually buy if this existed. So DC, pay attention. Pay attention. This would be a really cool cover. And I think I got one more DC for you because she also did this pretty awesome Starfire piece. So I know Starfire doesn't have a title these days, but if she did, and if we were to bring that thing back, it would probably look something like this. And again, you saw this on the shelf. What do you think about picking this up? With the trade, I realize I could have done these with the limited trade dress and all that stuff, but I don't think that's as fun. I think it's more fun seeing these things with the full cover A type style trade dress. So that's the way I mock these up, just to kind of check it out. And like I said, this would be cool to me, and I would go and buy this. Oh, I do actually have one more. This one kind of goes back a little bit because this is a piece that she did with the Catwoman, but specifically the Injustice Catwoman. So I think it's actually Injustice 2 is what the title of her art piece was, the Injustice 2 Catwoman. So I figured I'll take that bit of a lead and we'll throw the Injustice 2 trade dress on there. And once again, this would be awesome. This would be awesome. I would buy this. If this were an incentive, I'd probably pay ratio or maybe even a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just saying, if this existed, I would try to add this to my collection. That's all I'm saying because I think it's awesome, personally. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And I am open to suggestions. Tell me some artists that are not getting enough love. Don't tell me about the, I don't want to hear about Hughes. I don't want to hear about Jeff DeCall. I love those, those artists as well, but we know them. And maybe I'll do little things here and there just for fun when we see some of their, pieces that aren't actually covers and say, hey, why don't you make this a cover? But what I'm really looking for, at least to start us off here, let's get some names that most people don't know. Who's those artists that you just kind of followed, like on IG or Twitter, wherever you're finding your stuff? Share it with me, and I'll take a look. I got a couple more artists that I might do something fun like this with. Maybe I'll take a look at flops. Talk about flops too. Maybe we'll play around with that stuff. But again, I'm open to suggestions, so tell me what you want to see, and I will add it to my list, and let's just have fun. This is a community after all. Let's just have fun talking comics and imagine for a few minutes what could be, right? What is another thing that could be? A lot of her, Anna's art also features a lot of more like D&D fantasy type stuff, which, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. Marco makes fun of me. I like Lord of the Rings. I like House of the Dragon type stuff. I like Willow. I like, all of this stuff. I love the fantasy genre, D&D, Dungeons and Dragons as well. Even though I don't play, I like it. So a lot of this art still would work on that level to me, because she has a lot of pieces that do feature things like elves and dwarves and what have you. If IDW still had, well, I guess they still do have the the IP for Dungeons and Dragons. I think they're doing the one, but this would still be cool, right? Like, I would get this just for this cover alone. I think this would be an awesome cover. This, this elf lady. I also think this Leech. I don't know how you say it. It's Lich. It's basically what Vecna is in Stranger Things, but this piece as well, really cool. I know it's got a little bit of a Ghost Rider vibe, but really, really cool. And can't you see this as a cover? I could see it as a cover, and it would be a cover that I'd grab off the shelf, even if I didn't read this title. Even if I didn't read an ongoing Dungeons and Dragons title, if I saw this on a shelf, I would grab this. Same with this piece here. Pretty cool piece of art. You can appreciate art, but there's something about it once you throw these extra little bits on there and make it an actual cover, it puts it in a different place in my mind. And it starts to become more real. And I go, you know what? Yeah, that would make a great cover. So let me know what you guys think of that segment. It's just something fun that I've been kicking around doing for a while now. And I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to do it because why not? It's kind of fun. This is the year 2023. I just want to do a lot more things that I personally find more entertaining and fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. Again, if it's not for you, tell me. That's fine. I'll find another place for it, or I can move things around. I want to have content that we all can enjoy together, and try to reach everybody because I like a lot of different things. I have a lot of different tastes and a lot of different hobbies and things that I like to do. So I don't mind pivoting from one to the other if you guys like it. So let me know again what you think. But that is something I'd like to try going forward. I didn't really have a place for it, and I didn't know if I could do a whole show based off of that. So that's why, even though it's not market related, so it doesn't really fit perfectly into hidden gems, I still think spotlighting the artists in this way does feel right. In the same way of me doing the artist retrospective, it does feel right for it to be here. So that's why I'm going to mix it in here on Hidden Gems. And like I said, hopefully you enjoy seeing this every now and again. And with that, let's get into some regular books that you guys normally like to see. And we're going to move it on over to, well, variants. You guys know me. You know I like talking variants. So I got some more variants for you. And this week, I decided to focus the variant section on one title in particular, and actually a very specific run, because there's more to come and more that we can talk about for this title maybe down the line. But thinking of IDW, following up on those Dungeons and Dragons IDW things, IDW did just end with G.I. Joe, and they did just end with Transformers. So here I have Transformers More Than Meets the Eye. These are going to be 1 in 10 incentive variants that I'm running through issues 7 through 12, I think is what we're going to cover here. And I don't know if all of them all, but I think they all might be Marcelo Mater, if I'm saying the name properly. At least the first few, maybe not the last, but this is a pretty cool Shockwave cover, right? It's Shockwave, it's not Soundwave, it's Shockwave, I think, right? Anyway, but that is one of the tapes. What's the Vulture's name? Can't remember the Vulture's name. Soundwave's Vulture. Anyway, you guys in the live chat probably will know and be correcting me, but anyway, this 1 in 10 and many of these 1 in 10s, they aren't easy to find. Like, again, they're a lower ratio incentive, so you think 1 in 10 is not that many, should be easy, but you're going back like a decade now into IDW books, and they're not going to be easy to track down. And if you do find them, they can do all right. Now, this particular book didn't actually have any recent sales. So starting with number 7, I couldn't find any sales for this one. And what you're going to see as we go through these, pricing can be very inconsistent. They could be on the very, very cheap side to the very, very expensive side. And there is no real consistent rhyme or reason other than the market will do what the market's going to do. So we'll see as we work through this. But on the market right now, this one, $60. And I know that is on the more expensive side, but that's nowhere near the most expensive of what we're going to get into. But this is just kind of level set yet. This is kind of in the middle. So for a 1 in 10, this $60 is kind of there for this particular Shockwave cover. Up next, that's number 7. Let's take a look at number 8. Pretty awesome Grimlock. I feel like I might have actually bought this at Baltimore in a box for $5 because I know I grabbed a couple of Transformers books, and I feel like I remember seeing this Grimlock, and I hope I bought it. I got to go through my box, one of my more recent boxes, to see if it's in there. But I feel like I did buy this one. I don't know why. It's just something about it was very familiar when I was running through the list. I'm like, you know what? I think I got this one. But this is also a 1 in 10, same artist, and just like the last book, none actually sold. So these aren't the hot books. Nobody's chasing these old-ass Transformers incentive variants, nor am I telling you to. I'm just trying to point out things that I think are cool and I think are fun, and just give you a sense of where the market is on these. So in case you stumble across them, you know what you're working with. If you find them in a shop, they want $20. Is $20 a good price? Is $10 a good price for a 1 in 10? Is $50 a good, that's for you to decide, not for me to tell you. So this particular book, again, had no recent sales, so we don't know what people are willing to pay, but I can tell you what people are asking. And right now for this one, they're asking $50 and $75. Those are the copies I found out. There are a couple of copies that kind of give you that range of what's on the market. So $50 to $75. Isn't that same kind of range as the last book? But let's see, do they stay here or do we move up, down? Let's take a look at the next one. That's issue 8. Moving to issue 9, we get Optimus featured here on the cover here. Pretty front and center, kind of zoomed in. Classic look, Optimus Prime. That's what the More Than Meets the Eye, I think, series was. It was more the classic Transformers. And once again, sales, I got nothing for you. Nobody's bought one recently. But the market is asking a little more affordable on one end, as you can see a copy there for $10. or very expensive on the other end with somebody else asking 150. I think there's copies in between, but this is my point. My point is there's a wide range of what these things can end up going out there on the market for. And without recent sales, we don't know what people might be willing to pay. So keep that in mind as well as you do your shopping. And especially if you're doing your shopping for yourself, most of this doesn't matter. If you're buying this for yourself, it really doesn't matter apart from what it's going to cost you to buy it if you don't have it. So just buy it at a price that you are comfortable with paying. That's at least how I collect. I mean, sometimes you might say I overpay for things, but if I want it and that's the only way I'm going to get it, yeah, I'll buy that book. I'll buy that damaged book. It's not even a 9.8 because, well, it's at a price that fits my budget and I get to say I have it and I get to have it in my collection and I'm good with it. I'm not looking to flip it, not looking to sell it, not looking to drive you to whatnot to go and buy it or my eBay store. I do have an eBay store. If you want to see what's on there, you're free to look. It's the same name as the channel. I try to be as transparent as I can with all this stuff. So I try not to talk about books that I actively have listed just to avoid any sort of impropriety. But yeah, it is what it is. So you guys can see what I got out there. But mostly, I'm just a collector. I love this stuff. This is my job. This is what I love to do. So this is my hobby. I love talking about this stuff, and hopefully you guys are still enjoying it. That said, PSA in the middle of the show aside, let's go on and see where we're at with this next book. So this one, 10 to 150. Only got a couple left before we go on from Beyond Transformers, but here we go with issue 10. So issue 10, we got another Optimus kind of focus, and I think that's why can't I think of his name? It's not Ironhide. I can't think of the medical dude. It's like a little ambulance type van. I can't think of his name, but anyway, that part's kind of unimportant. What is more important is we actually have a sale, and one of these sold for only $15. So 1 in 10, pretty much in that same kind of range as far as print run goes as the rest. I know I'm not giving you print run numbers. This isn't Chasing Ghosts, and maybe we could have covered some of these on Chasing Ghosts because we're not seeing a lot of copies of a lot of these books, but I felt like they fit here just for fun. Let's just look at the market on these, and $15 is what this one sold for, this 1 in 10, and then I found one online, asking price $100. So where is this book now? That sale was December 29th, so very recent. Did that sell for $15 because this book's worth a lot more than that and somebody scooped that up really, really quickly? Or did somebody decide they want to set the market at a new high? I don't know. I can't tell you that. All I can tell you is I'm probably not paying $100 for this because it's still a 1 in 10. It's not my favorite, but you all decide where you think this should be. And if you like it, get it. If you don't worry about it. This is just like I said, I'm just showing you stuff that I think is kind of cool. Just like this next book. Number 11. Not the biggest fan of Hot Rod or Rodimus Prime, but yeah, it's kind of a coolish looking cover, right? I think that's who that's supposed to be. Looks like a little bit like Hot Rod, a little more aged up maybe, but be that as it may. No copies sold on this one either. So don't know where the market's at, but the asking prices are pretty cheap. Unlike the last one, these are all on the cheap side. Look, $7 to $15. All right, that might be more doable. It's a 1 in 10 after all. 1.5 times ratio to under ratio ain't that bad. Just something to consider. And then the last one I have here is one I think I did talk about, or if I didn't talk about, I know I was planning on it because this ties into those IDW, those like rock album like homages. So you guys know I got that the Baroness cover that's kind of like that Jimi Hendrix thing. There's a few rock sort of homage type books that ran through IDW on their 1 in 10s, and the next one, this issue 12 for More Than Meets the Eye. I think it's a Sergeant Pepper's. So this is Sergeant Pepper's I think cover, little homage there. So this one is a little bit pricier because of that. So it has a different, we got Beatles collectors, they're pretty rabid fan base. I mean, Transformers collectors as well. And then you mix these kind of things together and sparks can fly, So this one is actually by KCW Kohler, if I'm getting that right. Also a 1 in 10 for issue 12. This is the last one we're doing for today. This one, while none have sold recently in the last 3 months, there are multiple copies listed, and they are listed from $300 to $400 raw, basically. That's the ballpark range for this particular book. As I mentioned, that subset of IDW books can be pretty pricey. Also tying into like that Taxi Driver Ghostbuster book is kind of in that same time frame. Like there's a few of those IDW 1 in 10s that are very expensive. But just keep an eye out for this. I mean, if you find it, great. But yeah, just wanted to point that out and show you. So once again, maybe this fit more on chasing ghosts, but these being only 1 in 10s, I felt like we could do them here. And starting off in the new year, I thought it would be kind of fun. I've had these on my wanting to do list for a while because this run has a number of other really, really cool covers. There's a lot of really awesome looking 1 in 10s, some of which are really tough to find as this series goes on. Like there's a couple in the 20s, there's a couple in the 30s, and running up even to that final few issues, which I think it ended at 57. There's some really cool covers. So we'll get back to these. We'll get back to these at some point, but here's a taste. Here's a few just to get us started. And now we are going to shift on over from variants to another segment. As you guys know, we like to do a couple segments here, mix it up, do a few different things. And now I'm going to kind of shift to oddities. Why did I put this in oddities? I don't know. I guess because it's a little different. And I'm going to be talking today for oddities, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I know, the show is done. The show's over, but the recent Wednesday show on Netflix kind of reminded me a lot of what they were doing in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Netflix show, and I did enjoy it. I still got to watch the final season of it, though. I'm just kind of saving it because once I watch it, it's done, and I really did like it. As I said, I enjoyed it. For what it was, I enjoyed it, and I actually did enjoy what I saw on Wednesday. I didn't watch all of it yet. My wife was more watching it, and I kind of was popping in there in the middle. I'll probably go back to that as well. But that said, I have always liked this run of comics. Like the Afterlife with Archie stuff is fun. The Jughead, The Hunger is pretty cool. Vampironica. But the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was always my favorite to collect because I really like these Robert Hack covers and some of the other variants that are mixed in here. So this particular book is issue 5. We're gonna start with number 5 because we're just jumping away from the beginning of the set, or the beginning of the run, which they're all right. They do okay. They're not as hard to find, I guess, as we get later on. As the series started to get a little inconsistent with the publication, and I think orders just went down because of that. Because people forget to go pick it up. They don't know when to get the book. If it's not coming out every month, they would forget. You got to wait a few months before the next issue. That said, this is the variant for number 5. It's a B variant. It's not an incentive, just the B variant. Pretty cool. I like that kind of a pulpy kind of vibe that you get here. I mean, Hack does that pretty well. That's partly why I like his style. And copies of this have sold recently for $15. So, I mean, this is a, what is it, $3.99 cover probably. So $15. You're not gonna get rich off of this, but still a fun book to keep an eye out for. And if you find it, cool. And let's look at what the asking prices are, because the asking prices, well, one sold for 15. We got one shipped out of Canada asking for almost $20, and then there's another one out there for $50. So the asking prices could be steeper, depending on where you're looking and when you're looking. So it's one of those things. Just be patient. You can see where your copy might land. All right, so here's issue 5. We're going to run through to the next issue, issue 6. I think this one actually had a couple of covers, but this is also the variant for number 6. All black cover with those golden eyes kind of staring back at you. It's like a thicker kind of like cardstock cover. So if this thing gets spine ticks, you're most likely not going to be able to press these out. So keep that in mind as well. If you're buying a copy of this has that thick cover. So it's pretty unforgiving if it gets jacked up. So just know that while you're out there hunting. And copies of this have sold pretty cheaply, $7 to $10. Ain't too bad for the copies that actually sold within the last month or so. Those are both December sales. And then when we go to what the asking prices is, well, the ones I was able to find right now, at least, want $20 to $40. Well, a little over 40, but still kind of in that same range as the last issue. There could be cheaper ones, could be a little bit more expensive. A lot of times these are not listed as near mint because these Archie type books usually found their ways on a lot of spinner racks. A lot of spinner racks that still existed out there in comic book land. And if these things go on a spinner rack, they're getting bent to shit as people are kind of flipping through these Archie books. So spine ticks abundant. Just keep that in mind as well. Because like I said, I know a couple of shops that do still have those spinner racks, and that's where these Archie books find themselves on. The Archies, the Sonics, that type of stuff, the Mega Man things, the things I actually like usually get jacked up pretty good. So keep that in mind as well when you're out there shopping. And that's why you're going to pay a premium for those higher grades. All right, that's issue 6. Let's go on to issue 7. I really like this cover. Just something about it, just the eeriness of the graveyard. It really gives me the vibe of the show. I dig it. I like this cover. This is why I made this the thumbnail image, because it works. But Archie Horror. This is the variant for issue 7. I think the artist on this one is Moritat. I don't know how to pronounce names. I need double O for that. But this particular book, again, can sell for a very reasonable amount. $10. Copy sold for $4, $5. That's cool. That's not an expensive book for this variant cover. I think that's a very good price. I would pick it up if I didn't already have it, but I got this book because, like I said, I like it. And then when you look at the market, this is still very reasonable. $7 to $15, or $8 to $15. And then there's a $10 copy. Yeah, so you're kind of in that $10 to $15 kind of range. Not too terribly bad if you're interested in this kind of thing. And then we're going to move on to the last one here. And this is probably the most popular of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina run because it just has that awesome hat cover. This is the cover A, though. It is not the B cover. I prefer this to the B cover. There's just something about this cover. This really, really pops when you have it. Again, cardstock cover. So if it's damaged, it's damaged. But it looks like one of those pulp books. It even has that price tag sticker on it. It's not on it, but it's in it. It's in the design. The $3.99 is built into the cover. Really cool. I love this cover, especially with the skull. You get those kind of those feelings, those homages back to that Misfits cover, and really cool stuff. And this one does all right because of that. So this one we can look at recent sales, $20 to $35 for the raws, and then there was a best offer on $80 for a graded 9.8. So a 9.8 still best offer on $80 ain't too bad because, like I said, it's not impossible to get a 9.8 because, like I said, it's cardstock, so it does stand up better to wear and tear. But if it did get damaged, there's not much going back from it. There's no saving it. So that's where these can be tricky as far as grading goes. And then when you look at copies available, a lot of them are out there, $35 raw. And then look, you see there's a set of the A and the B cover, which again, the B cover is kind of cool, but I really like this one, this A cover by Hack. So, but $50 for that set. Also in that same kind of range. And then there's a 9.8 listed there for $400. So that's a bit far and away above the best offer on $80 for $400. But hey, that's what's out there. So that's what I'm showing you. You make your own decisions based off of that. But I'm just telling you, go look in those boxes. Maybe get lucky. Go check, again, those weird-ass spinner racks. Go check those boxes up front that have all the kid books in them. Maybe you find yourself some cool Animaniacs or Power Ranger-type comics. Those, the stuff that they target more towards the kids, I guess, that some shops don't give it the same level of care and love that they do their other back issues. So look in those odd places at your shop. Maybe you look into some of these books. But that said, we're going to move on to our final segment. Again, just going to try to keep it to 4. I was going to try to keep this short, but we're still hitting up over half an hour. And my nostalgia pick for this week will still be going back to something toy-related. And the toys that I want to talk about, which also lead into comic books, are these suckers right here. Now, a lot of these were more secondhand given to me. And these, if you don't know what these are Micronauts. So the Micronauts, they were like little metal dudes. There's a lot of some interchangeable parts that was like magnetized, so you could like pop things off here and there, swap pieces out. It was, again, pretty fun. I like the idea. There was a time when that was where toys were. You were a lot of interchangeable type things, like with the Centurions, things like that. Those were the ideas they loved working off of. But Micronauts could be something. I know a lot of people are kind of talking up Micronauts and the universe that we could possibly be seeing in Ant-Man tonight, as the trailer's supposed to drop, I think, during the national championship game. We'll see if we get anything else leading towards that, but in the quantum realm, there might be some ties to the Micronauts. I don't know about all that, but there is a series of comics based off of the Micronauts that ran almost 60 issues, so keep an eye out for that. Here's the first issue. I'm sure you've seen it. I've seen this in dollar bins over and over and over again. You can still probably find them out there. They're probably pretty banged up by now, but if you want a copy for $1, scoop it up, because it's just for nostalgia's sake pretty fun. But like I said, this thing ran. There's issue 1 again. There's issue 4 where we got our big bad guy Baron what the hell is his name? Begin with a K. Anyway, and then I think the final issue there was issue 59. Like I said, just under 60 issues for this run, so it lasted a good long while. And you can see there's plenty of books out there for this run, and you can find a bunch of them in those cheap boxes. And broad strokes, for our purposes here, you can see even issue 1 is selling for only $250. I mean, there's not always, but there are copies that can be had for those cheap amounts. So a copy can sell for $250 or $60 for a 9.2 on it was issue 8, which we'll get to in a minute. And then we can see there issue 4, a very good find for $350. So you're just talking a couple of bucks for a lot of these issues. They're not going to make you rich again, but kind of fun little things to find. And like I said, you'll find a lot of these in dollar bins. So just keep an eye out for them while you're digging. And asking prices, again, you can see here the asking prices, however, for issue 1 are kind of higher. There's copies there where they're asking like 35, 40 bucks. So those are out there. But as well as you can see, most of the copies are in that kind of $15 to $20 kind of range, though, for number 1. But as you saw, a copy could sell for as cheap as $250. So be patient and go looking. There's a lot of them out there. And then there's tons of lots like below. You can see that's a few issues all lotted up there for 50 bucks. You can find them for cheaper too. Look for auctions. That's another way to find a lot of these oddball type books for cheaper. If somebody decides to auction these things off, the good chance you're going to be the only bidder, or you're only going to have to fight like 1 or 2 people who probably aren't going to be throwing a lot of money at these things. So that's another way for you to shop for some of these weird hidden gems. You take a shot, because if it's an auction, you just bid what you're comfortable bidding. And if you get outbid, you get outbid. That's it. You let it go. Somebody wanted it more. Let them have it. Just don't overbid. Just try to pay what you're willing to pay. At least that's how I do my shopping. I got a number in mind, right or wrong, of what I feel it's worth and what it's worth to me personally, and that's where I'll go. If it goes above it, hey, it wasn't meant to be. I'll wait for the next one. That said, there are a couple issues to keep an eye out for, and these 2 are pretty early on that I want to spotlight a little bit extra above the main run of 60 issues. And we're not talking about just issue 1. Here's the Man-Thing cover. So you got issue 7, guest appearance by Man-Thing, and we all know he had a resurgence here with the Werewolf by Night series. I thought he was really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that type of stuff in the MCU, and maybe we'll see more Man-Thing going forward, because I thought they did it pretty well. It was pretty fun. And this particular issue, as I said, it sells for a few bucks more, not a ton. I mean, $5, $20, and then you can see there was a 9.2 that sold for only $31. I mean, it costs close to that to grade it, so I know it's only a 9.2, but it's not terrible. Asking prices, however, for this issue, 15 to 30 bucks right now. That's what's out there at the moment. So again, be patient, do some looking, do some searching, do some digging. And if you're interested, maybe find one for cheaper. But if not, that's where the market's asking right now, 15 to 30 bucks on this Man-Thing one. So if you find one in a $1 box, that's also to give you a sense. If you want to do this and look at these prices for flipping purposes, again, I'm not going to judge you for that. I flip the occasional book here and there too, especially when I get duplicates. You find this in a $1 box and you can get $15 to $30 for it. Go ahead, go get that money. Go ahead, let somebody else buy it from you. You did the work, you get to reap the rewards. Now, that said, that's issue 7. The only other one I want to talk about for today's purposes are issue 8, which is the first appearance of Captain Universe. I know you guys all know the Spidey, where he gets the Captain Universe powers. That's the more famous, I guess, part of the Captain Universe. But here we go. Captain Universe actually first appears here in issue 8. And this one had some spec driven toward it, maybe in the last couple of year or two, because of one reason or another. But here we are now, and it still sells pretty well. Best offer on 34 bucks, raw copy for 30 bucks, and that looks like a 9.6 sold for $120. So this one is still probably one that sells the best out of the Micronauts bunch. So always look for that issue 8 if you find Micronauts. And available copies as well. There's a 9.8 looking for $220, and then raw copies anywhere from $25 to $55. So yeah, happy hunting. Happy hunting. And with that, that's all I got for you this week. Once again, let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. Give me some feedback on what you thought about That Should Be a Cover. Like I said, I had a lot of fun doing it. Hopefully you guys liked it. And like I said, suggest some artists for me. I got a handful that I already put aside, and I plan to take a look at as possibilities going forward. But yeah, shoot me some names. Shoot me some links, because like I said, I want to be looking at some artists that don't get a lot of the talk and notoriety. Not to say that they can't have published work as it is, but they have to have unpublished work. That's part of the problem you're going to have with some of the bigger names. There's not going to be a lot of unpublished artwork that we can use for this segment. So keep that in mind for what I'm looking to do. So with that said, I appreciate the help. I'll appreciate the suggestions that I'm sure you guys will make. And hopefully you're enjoying, like I said, the channel. Come back. I'll have Chasing Ghosts tomorrow. We got the shorts set up for right now, and gonna try to keep them running daily for now. If that works, let me know what you think of those too. If you think they work better in getting dropped in chunks, I can do them in chunks maybe. I don't know, but for now I have it set up to drop one a day at noon for the shorts. And like I said, come back, Tack Show on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about the Marvel projects that they say they're going to trim back. So we're going to go through and make some calls with you in the chat What should they keep? What should they cancel? We're going to go through all the upcoming MCU projects and have some fun there as well. Then Dollar Bin Digging Thursday, Mail Call Madness on Friday, Saturday Night Special on Saturday, and then back for the Star Wars show, Tales from the Dark Side on Sunday. And then we'll start anew. Like I said, that's mostly going to be the main schedule that I've had for a while now. We're going to keep it, but occasionally I might mix it up and throw something else different out there as some of these new ideas working out. I want to throw too much new at you all at once, so I'm going to start trickling these things out over the first couple of months of the year. So once again, tell me, especially with the newer stuff, what you like, what you think of it. Comment, suggestions. I'm open to it. Don't worry about hurting my feelings. And hopefully you enjoy it. And with that, I'll see you guys later with some more content. All right. Bye.